p.m. To call this meeting to order of the North Hunterdon-Voorhees Regional High School District Board of Education. It is Tuesday, January 6, 2026. In accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10-4-6 et seq., adequate notice giving the time, date, location, and to the extent known the agenda of this meeting was sent to the Star-Ledger and the Hunterdon County Democrat and published on December 4th, 2025. In addition, notice of this meeting has been posted at the North Hunterdon High School and Voorhees High School, provided to the municipal clerks of Bethlehem Township, Califon Borough, Town of Clinton, Clinton Township, Franklin Township, Glen Gardner Borough, Hampton Borough, Highbridge Borough, Lebanon Township, Tewksbury Township, and Union Township, as well as other interested parties, and posted on the district website. Fire exits are located in the direction indicated, and if alerted to fire, please move in a calm and orderly fashion to the nearest smoke-free exit. Restrooms are located through the doors behind my desk and the right as indicated. At this time, please silence all cell phones. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The official election results are attached to this agenda. We'd like to welcome Richard Morgan, Nicole Ayers, Stephen Matthews, and Andrew Hanley. And at this time, I would like to conduct the oath of office for those 4 new members. So if you could join me at the backdrop. So if you could repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Richard Ayers,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people, so help me God. You so choose.
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and this state under the authority of the people, so help me.
I state your name.
I, Nicole Ayers,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of member of Board of Education,
that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of member of the Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19-4-1,
and that I am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19-4-1,
nor disqualified due to a conviction of a crime or offense listed in NJS 18A 12-1,
nor disqualified due to conviction of a crime or offense listed in NJS 18A 12-1,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability, so help me God if you so choose.
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, welcome aboard. All right, so at this time, I'd like to take a roll call. Ms. Ayers?
Here.
Mr. Chapman?
Here.
Mr. Hanley?
Here.
Ms. Hintz?
Here.
Mr. Lordy?
Here.
Mr. Matthews?
Here.
Mr. McIsaac?
Here.
Mr. Morgan?
Here.
Ms. Reyes?
Here.
Mr. Spanton?
Here.
Ms. Stein?
Here.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'd like to call for nominations from the floor for the office of president. I'd like to describe a little bit of how this is going to work. First, I will open the floor for the nominations, allowing any board member to make a nomination without a second, so a second is not needed. Please note that any board member nominated for president or vice president must have been a board member for at least 1 year, and the president and vice president shall not be from the same municipality. During this nomination process, when the floor is open, please feel free to make brief remarks as to why you're nominating the individual, and if anybody would like to, concur or make any other statements, that would be the time while the floor is open. After nominations are made, I will close the floor to the nominations and then conduct roll call votes for each nomination, beginning with the very first person nominated. So if the first person is nominated, we'll conduct the roll call, and moving forward if a majority vote is not had. So again, the first person to receive a majority vote of the members constituting a quorum will be elected to president. Is there any questions? Okay. So I will be opening the floor for nominations for president. Yes.
I'd like to nominate Brendan McIsaac. Can I say a few words right now?
Of course.
Yeah. I nominated Brendan last year. Last year was because of the strategic planning we had coming up, and I just felt he was a strong candidate because of his experience with school districts. Everyone on this board knows his integrity and is well respected by members of this board and the public. From 2012 to 2020, he served on the Clinton Glenn Gardner School Board, serving 6 of those years as president. He's worked with Hunterdon Central as an English teacher since 1997 and has been the English supervisor since 2007. He was named 2014 Supervisor of the Year by the state of New Jersey. And those are the reasons why I think it'd be great. I did reach out to Brendan before just to make sure he still would engage in the role of president, and he said he would, so.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, I will close the floor for nominations. And I will conduct a roll call vote. Ms. Ayers?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
Mr. Hanley?
Yes.
Ms. Hintz?
Yes.
Mr. Lordy?
I guess I have 2 questions before I cast my vote. Brendan, so directed at you, do you still support the committee of the whole structure?
I think
I don't think we can have that.
yeah,
conversation
unfortunately, I'm in the middle of the roll
process.
call,
So
so
that the time for the comments were when the floor was open.
I've
before
closed the
nominations
floor
were closed.
for nominations.
I didn't know. Could
Well,
we
it was explained, but, sorry.
Can we go back?
There's
I-
a nomination on the floor. If somebody wants to table the nomination, the motion.
Yeah,
then
we have
further
to,
discussion, but
right.
we'd have to vote on that, so.
I think it's best if we just conduct the roll call since we're now in the middle of the roll call vote.
Then I have to vote no, unfortunately.
Okay, Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. McIsaac?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
I vote yes in the hopes that we continue to work as a committee of a whole for transparency, operational excellence, and oversight of administration. So I saw that happening in the previous term and look forward to that continuing to happen. So I'm voting yes.
Mr. Spanton?
Yes.
Ms. Stein?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you for your support. I will absolutely do my best to further the success and interests of the district and support all students, so I look forward to it. Do I have to move at this
Yep,
point?
you gotta come up to the seat.
You are welcome to take.
You're official. Congratulations. Thank you.
All right. So we're moving to the nominations for the office of Vice President. So the floor is open for nominations for Vice President.
I would like to nominate Tara Hintz for the position of Vice President. Tara is with the possible exception of Katie, or Ms. Boo, the person with the most tenure at this board, at this table right now. I'm not sure when, I don't know for sure, but certainly for elected members, she is our longest standing board member. She's held numerous positions of leadership on this board in the past. I find that she has an excellent network in the community and in the school boards for the county, obviously, as a leadership, playing a leadership role in that respect as well. I think she has extensive knowledge about the history of this board and what has happened in the past, and can be very useful to the president and the superintendent in advising them about those things. And perhaps most important for me is she's very respectful and empathetic, and clearly wants the best for the students. For those reasons, I nominate Tara.
I would concur. I think in my time on this board, I've admired Tara's leadership, certainly stepping up at the county level, which has been great to see, positioning us as a district in that capacity. And I think as I've gotten to know Tara and her history, both on the board and in the school, I've come to genuinely see her as the heart and soul of this board. So I absolutely concur.
Thank you.
Are there any additional nominations for vice president?
Does that mean if there's questions, they should be asked now?
I don't know if there's questions, because I don't know that it's an interview per se, but
Well, I only asked
discussion.
because
Could
of
be
what
discussion.
happened. Oh, discussion?
So are there any other nominations? I guess that might be the first. Discussion? Comments? Okay.
No other nominations.
Okay. So did you have comments? There was something that you wanted to state?
No, I would like to vote with the understanding of, continuing to do in the best interest of the district, oversight of administration, as well as transparency, committee of the whole, in order to be very transparent to our community members, our district, and moving the best foot forward.
Yeah, that's my hope. I've been doing a lot of research on how we're going to work moving forward, because this is new to all of us as a board of a whole, so this is exciting time. So I look forward to helping with that process for the whole board and as we move forward.
Any other comments? I guess we can move to the vote.
Ms. Ayers?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
Mr. Hanley?
Yes.
Ms. Hintz?
Yes.
Mr. Lordy?
No.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. McIsaac?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
Mr. Spanton?
Yes.
And Ms. Stein?
Yes.
Thank you, motion carries.
Yep, you gotta move over to. Musical chairs all overnight.
She's been there before.
Yeah.
I know, yeah, it's true.
With Glenn.
Yep.
Thank you, all. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right. So moving forward, I need a call and a motion. I need a motion and a second to approve action items 8.1 through 8.11. Can I get a motion? Motion, Dan. Can I get a second? Second, Brian. Thank you. Katie, I was just going to ask, for the benefit of the folks who are new to the board and the fact that this is something we do annually, perhaps twice a year, could you just briefly summarize what each of these particular items are?
Sure. Per bylaws, There are several annual appointments that the board makes. A lot of them are fiscal year that we do in June. So as you notice, the June agenda has a lot of annual appointments, as well as the reorganization meeting. One of them appointing the district purchasing agent, which is myself. That needs to be done at reorganization. The board's readoption of policies, bylaws, and curricula specifically for the reorganization meeting. So for the new board that's seated, to readopt those items. 8.3, the designation of official newspapers. As you'll see in the attachment, we have the designation of official newspapers, even though they're no longer in print. They're still going to be advertised in the same fashion that we have been. But also, there's also some new coding that, as of March 31st, there's going to be the change in advertisement to only our district websites. We'll be in compliance with that as per the motion that you'll be putting forward tonight. And the rollout of how we're going to do things in the business office is really just that transition to online only, which has already happened, but we're following state statute. The designation of depositories and authorized signers, again, that's something that we do at reorganization because Citizens Bank and other banks that we use, we will need to update our signature cards based on the board president changing and knowing that that changes annually. So we have that for authorization as well tonight. The designation of EFTs, there is a policy for designation of electronic fund transfers. We don't have many of those in this district, and many school districts don't use that tremendously, but we do have a few that require an EFT, such as bond payments. So that's something that annually we just authorize who's allowed to do that and how that works in policies and regulation. The annual flexible spending account limits, there is for FSA as well as dependent care. There's always annual changes in how much we're allowed to contribute. So we're asking the board to update those annual amounts, both for single and family limitations for the FSA and dependent care. 8.7 is cooperative pricing systems. So we are a member of several cooperatives in the state, such as Hunterdon County Ed Services, such as New Jersey START. We use those instead of doing bidding ourselves. We're able to use cooperatives. They do bidding for us, and then we're allowed to get the best pricing available. So we're asking the board to approve the participation in those cooperative pricing systems so that we can continue to utilize the cheapest option that we have available to us. 8.8 is just authorizing that the board is authorizing periodic sales of surplus or goods that we may not be utilizing anymore. Again, on that periodic basis, we will ask the board to approve those individual items, but this is just authorizing the annual motion. The code of ethics for school board members, that's required at reorganization, and I do have a signature page for everyone to sign off that you've read and you are willing to sign off on complying with the code of ethics for school board members. The 2026 board meeting calendar is up for approval. That has been drafted, assuming we continue with the committee of the whole structure. So I know that can be a discussion item as to whether you're all approving of that and want to make any changes. Feel free to do that tonight, and then my office will be advertising that subsequent after this meeting in those electronic means and on our district website. And 8.11 is the organizational chart, again, something that is to be approved at the reorganization meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Hopefully that helps.
Yeah. Questions or discussion on any of those items?
There's one item, I spoke to Katie about it, and she clarified it for me. This is 8.6, the flexible spending accounts. So if you were looking closely at it, the last paragraph, it's actually a bullet on that, in that document. It's a very short document. Has two numbers, 3,750/7,500, and what Ms. Blue clarified for me is one of those is an individual limit and the other one's a family limit.
I know I relied on them when the kids were little, so a good thing to have. Rich, did you have questions on the calendar, or as far as it aligning to the board of the whole?
No.
Okay. Are there any questions on the board of the whole as far as the proposed calendar to move forward with exploring that structure?
I think we need to give it a try. We voted it in, so
Right. Yeah,
Agreed.
And you've worked as a board of a whole before.
I have,
Yeah.
I think Andrea
And Andrea
has
has
as
too, so
well.
will be great guidance. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
No, I think, oh, I'm sorry. go
I was just
ahead.
gonna say, I was talking to Rich about this, and I think the only concern is we don't have a structure for the working meetings yet. But I think if we get to we get to that first meeting, then that's what it becomes, is figuring out that structure and kind of, maybe we fumble through the first couple, but we can.
Well, I mean, if anyone, just kind of on that, if anyone has thoughts about structure, I would say email me. I know having done a board of the whole, and Andrea having done a board of the whole, and I think I alluded to it at the last meeting, there were structures in place like a business administrator's report, a curriculum director's report that are sort of routine, that would capture the topics that would typically happen under the committee structure there. I think where we might have to, pay a little more close attention as time through budget season gets a little bit intensive, we may have a work session that is devoted almost exclusively to, just the detailing of the budget so that we can move forward with that. And I think the other thing, and I don't know, Rich, you might have to help a little bit with the policies and the approval of policies and just sort of shepherding that work forward. I know we're in progress of transferring from stress estimate to school boards. We have all these school board policies. And I think we just did the bylaws the last time. That was the only one we've touched upon. Brian, having most recently been on that committee, and I know you had a lot of notes in there and just comments on policies, and there are always sort of little details and points or blanks that the district has to make a decision one way or the other. So, I mean, I might just lean on you a little bit to kind of help guide us in that work and managing. I know in the past, like Strauss Esme would have sort of just their periodic dispatches that would come for review. So those might be areas where if there's some additional work needed, that might be something to explore to kind of just keep us moving on those things. I'm sorry, Rich, you had a comment.
I also, because we don't have our committees and chairs, there's two areas, our delegate, we assign a delegate, and both the county and the state delegate. So if anyone's interested, I guess let you know, and then we can decide who wants to take those on. I've done it it's a fabulous thing, and I'll continue to do it, but I've done it for like the last 5 years. So if anybody else would like to step up and become our delegate to represent us, it's just twice a year. It's at Mercer County Community College, so the delegate assembly, it's in May and end of November. And then the county, we always had a county rep, but I'm the president now of the county association, so I'd love to have one of our board members also be the reporting out delegate for us.
And what sort of, I mean, in terms of your experience there, what has been just the nature of the insight or the value that you feel you've gleaned from it?
From county or state?
Both. Both, as folks might be considering.
Well, the state is actually fabulous because it's the policies, and we do the resolutions whenever there's any major changes to any of the school board policies. That's done in delegate assembly. So it's opened up for anybody in the state, any board, to put in any kind of resolution they want for the various, and they do them kind of how we've done them in the past. They'll do section numbers. And so the call goes out, and if there's any changes, districts will write their resolution, and then it's worked through the session, verbiage is changed or added, and then if it's adopted or, doesn't pass, so it's a great position.
So yeah, if that sounds appealing or interesting in terms of doing that work or learning that, just let me know, and we can kind of go from there. Any other topics or any other discussion on anything?
Are there additional appointments to other things like the Hunterdon ESC? Do we appoint at this level to other things besides just the state? I know in the sending districts, there were a number, 5 or 6 different.
ESC, and I know it was often the superintendent who would sit on the ESC, but I don't know if it operates like that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be, but yeah, that's typically what has happened.
I was just wondering if you could have a list of what the open.
Yeah, I think right now that's what the two that I'm aware of, and then we have our committees.
Right, everything else has been like committee chairs.
For the January 20th meeting, we'll come up with a list of that, and we'll make sure we have all those positions filled.
Okay.
have.
Yeah, that's
people
something
who,
I've seen
volunteer
in
for
other.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Yeah, and it's the sort of thing, like, I don't know if we had any running liaisons in any other capacities. You know, and I don't know if this is sort of the place to say it, but sort of in that line, something I would be interested in us potentially pursuing is reconstituting the quarterly meetings among the sending districts. I believe it was the presidents and vice presidents would meet quarterly, usually here. I know when I was on the board at CPS, I was attending those, and it was a great opportunity to really connect with the sending districts and just be able to discuss shared services or other kinds of just common challenges and solutions. So, but that can obviously be a conversation that we have as well. Okay.
I do have a question for 8.1 with the purchasing agent. I just wanted some clarity. So if there is, are there still items that are going to be board approved with that still? Or is it just like the threshold?
So there's always board approval for items that are over the bid threshold.
Okay.
There's always nuances, so I can't say in every instance there's board approval, but anything over the bid threshold, under the bid threshold, it could be for multi-year contracts, that would come to the board.
So
There's
even if
always
it's
nuances.
under, there are times
There are
when
times when it was to come to
it
the
does
board.
require board?
Yes,
Okay, just for clarity.
of course.
But you're saying it's situational?
Situational.
Got it.
Yes. And just to point out on the calendar as well, there are some stars asterisks next to the March and the April meeting due to budget changes that could happen from the commissioner. Those look like they're pretty solid dates at this point, so I don't anticipate changes. There always could be a change, but the calendar looks like it's solidified at this point, so I think we should be okay with the March 17th. And you'll notice they're spaced a bit far apart because March 17th gives us allowance to then send the preliminary budget to the county office, and they'll allow for, I think, almost a 5-week period for them to review the budget, give us any comments or changes. Excuse me, typically just comments, and then approval then at the budget hearing on April 28th.
And then I did note on the January 27th meeting, we have the board training earlier at 6 o'clock. And I guess, is that when we have our field rep come out and kind of walk us through?
Yep, I asked Kathy Pirio, who's
Okay.
our new board rep, to come out and do that annual board training on 27th. She wasn't available this week, reorg is crazy.
Busy.
Okay, no, I get it. And then I guess there was, I know, a question about calendaring all of these with sort of I know when we had the committee structure, there were generally invitations to the committees. I actually didn't recall if we typically were getting invitations to the board meetings or not.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
We'll have all these put in tomorrow on
Okay,
official,
yeah.
and everyone here will be invited.
Okay.
So it's,
I
Google
just-
Calendar is sort of what I live by, and I
Okay.
love to do as well. So.
Yep.
Excellent. I just wanted to ask, I didn't want to interrupt before. When you mentioned situational, what is an example of that? Like, what would be considered?
If a vendor asks for a multi-year contract, let's say, in order to lock in pricing for a certain reason, if we think that that pricing is good enough that we want to present it to the board, we'll ask you to approve that multi-year contract, but that will need board approval because we're going more than one fiscal year.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I did want to make one more note on the calendar. In October, you'll see there is a skip of a week, and that's because school boards is being held
Gotcha.
that week, so we didn't want to have a work session on the date that school boards was there and risk not having a quorum.
Right. And I mean, I don't know, having done the board of the whole before, and Andrea, you as well, I know there were times over the years where if the work didn't necessitate it, there would not necessarily be the 2 meetings. I don't know if that ever happened in your situation. I know it would occasionally happen, kind of depending on when things are.
Right, and sometimes a month like December or November, which is, they're a little shorter in terms of the number of
Right.
actual school days.
Right.
You might find it harder to squeeze 2 meetings
Yeah.
in.
It's easier for us to advertise all the meetings now and then.
Absolutely,
Yes.
yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions, discussion, clarifications? Okay. Oh,
My
Nicole?
first time.
Yep.
How would the working session work? I'm assuming that the regular meeting would be run similarly to what we've experienced and viewed. Would working session just be you go through each committee, handle all the tasks for FFT, handle all the tasks for policy, and just go down the line and have discussion, and then whatever is discussed is put up for a vote at the regular meeting?
Generally, yeah, kind of as the topics populate, whatever those subcategories become, the work session is the opportunity to kind of ask questions, get details, have discussion. Not that everything's necessarily resolved and finalized. Sometimes there's still more information, but it gives you the opportunity to sort of hash it out and kind of have the similar kinds of conversations that previously we would have had in committee, but we're having them here. That is probably something that I'm going to try to tend to, whereas the committee structure, by virtue of those meetings being an hour each, we tended to fill them up. And I don't know that that will be necessarily something that we'll seek to do under every topic here. Otherwise, it would be, 5-hour meetings. I think you can be strategic in setting things up happening over the course of a year, that topics are addressed, or kind of like with policy, it might come up periodically so that you're not doing it at every meeting, could be every other meeting, or depending on what seems like a sort of a reasonable moving through those to give us adequate time to discuss and to be able to move on them. But then the action meeting becomes, yes, the when you're actually voting on those things.
Okay. And would there, at the regular meeting or the action meeting, would there still be a report from a delegate, a chair, a representative for each committee?
There wouldn't be a report from the committees simply because by virtue of the Board of the Whole, we've participated in the discussion. It's not necessarily uncommon that maybe there's a presentation in a work session and a question comes up after the fact, or maybe a question comes up in the work session and some more information is needed that is either comes out before the next meeting or at the next meeting to sort of enable folks to feel that they're ready and comfortable to make a vote, if that makes sense.
So theoretically, the working meeting would be the longer meeting, and the action meeting would be a very quick, here's your resolutions, if anybody doesn't have any questions.
More or less, yeah, because you've had the time to kind of talk it through.
Theoretically, yes.
We were promised that would be the case.
5-hour meetings. We gotta have like.
I mean, I would say that in the past, I've seen reports from both the superintendent and the business administrator at both meetings.
Right.
Even if they're very short, but it kind of gives, it gives you a chance to update anything that's going on, might be of note, and that, those presentations are helpful.
Yeah.
And that if questions have come up, maybe they're sometimes answered in emails to the board from, the superintendent who's been able to have a chance to get the answer to, so.
And for things like that, I know we've used a few times in the past where if there is an open discussion or folks, just feel the need to process, that we would put like a Google Doc out there to put questions on there to kind of gather answers. I know, having been on the Board of a Whole before, sometimes when you get to those action meetings, it can feel like you're just approving stuff. And sometimes you almost feel compelled to sort of say, we did talk about this, at length previously. But I think there's sort of just a natural ebb and flow to that. I don't know, does that help?
Yes, thank you.
I would hope we can structure it in such a way that the working meeting is not 7 hours and the voting meeting is 20 minutes. If that becomes the case, we should try to, shift things a little bit and put some emphasis. The point, I guess, is though that we will not vote on items during the working meeting.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just the fact that they're happening, both meetings are happening in public, covers the whole open, transparent aspect of it.
Correct.
Whether we end up discussing something to some fair extent in the voting session, I think should be in balance.
Yeah, agreed.
And it aligns with our strategic plan, right? That we want to have that for the community and as a district.
So just sort of in summary on that, if you have thoughts or suggestions about structural ideas, send them my way. Actually, I just thought of it, and I would also ask if you have thoughts about norms. that you would like to see. I know that has been an ongoing conversation and something that we had established as a board goal. Similarly, send me some thoughts on that. Organizationally, you've probably been in work settings where, the establishment of norms and the handling of norms has been something that you've done. So if you have some thoughts or feelings about some that are good and would be good for our work, I would say send them my way as well, and I'll look to sort of compile them together and see if I can kind of come up with a list that feels like we can work with. All right. So we've had our discussion. All in favor? Or no, roll call? Yeah, okay.
Ms. Ayers?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
Mr. Hanley?
Yes.
Ms. Hinz?
Yes.
Mr. Lordy?
No on 8.1, yes on 8.2 to 8.11.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
Mr. Spanton?
Yes.
Ms. Stein?
Yes.
And Mr. McIsaac?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're moving to public comment. During this portion of the meeting, the public is invited to address the Board of Education with comments. You are requested to sign the register provided and to state your name, municipality, residence, group affiliation, if applicable, and direct your comments to the school board president. While all comments will be considered by the Board of Education and a response may be forthcoming if and when appropriate, individual school board members may not respond to the speakers at the time of their appearance. The public comment period will be a maximum of 30 minutes in length unless there are unusual circumstances. You will be allocated 3 minutes to speak, and no one will be permitted to speak more than once on the same topic until all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard. Please keep your comments respectful and non-defamatory and maintain the level of decorum appropriate for a public meeting where students may be present and in the audience. So we welcome any public comments from our public with us this evening. All right. Seeing none, though I do welcome you to come back with comments. Seeing none, I will close public comment. The next thing we have is a motion and second for executive session, but do we have anything for executive session?
I think it would be as if you don't want a discussion of the open position.
Oh, okay, just to sort of
Just the-
bring up on that. Okay, all right, so we are going to call for a motion second to adopt the resolution for an executive session to discuss matters reflected in the attached resolution. The board expects to be in executive session briefly, and upon return to public session, action, I don't know that action will be taken. I think it's just updates at this point. Can I get a motion? Motion, second, Cynthia, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. And a second to reconvene public session. Can I get a motion? Andrea? Second. Brian? All in favor? Aye. I guess Happy New Year, everyone. Good to see everyone. Rich pointed out it's going to be my first time to use the gavel, so I'll use it. And he pointed out that the vase was made in the Voorhees wood shop.
Yeah.
When there was
Back when
last
there
day
was wood
Voorhees
shop,
wood
yeah.
shop. So I look forward to working with everyone. Questions or ideas, please do just send them my way. Can I get a motion and a second to adjourn? Can I get a motion? Motion. Brian, second. Andrea. Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Way to go, first committee of the whole meeting.
Yes.
That's right.
It's not even